I really want you to look at what you want in your life rather than conforming to someone else's timeline. Do the thing you've always wanted to do. Move to the country, take the job, say yes. If you're contemplating traveling, do it. If you're contemplating just going on a date or whatever, do the thing. Take the risk, build money, be ambitious, be excited, rest, work hard, whatever it is that you want to do. I want to empower you to do it. Hello, and welcome back to the EmpowerHER Podcast. It is a special episode today because this is my birthday episode. So my birthday is this week. I am turning 33. I can't even believe that. And the reason I wanted to make this episode is because I am not where I thought I would be at 33, 10, 15 years ago. I actually feel like I'm somewhere even better. My 20s were super fun. I had a great 20s. Okay, I moved to Europe. I had so many amazing relationships, met new friends, worked in corporate. I lived in a bustling European city. I had the European version of a Sex in the City 20s experience. It was absolutely incredible. And it was also tough, right? I had tough relationships. I didn't always feel confident. I worked really hard in my career. I was figuring out who I was, what I wanted, especially in my relationships. And now that I'm 33, about to turn 33, I've never felt so content in who I am and the person that I am. I've built a business, increased my earnings. I'm married. Never did I think I was going to get married. I designed a life for myself that I feel is worthy to what I've put on the table and what I've actually wanted. And I didn't follow any timeline. I actually refused and still refuse to follow a timeline. And I really wanted to make this episode for any of you that are feeling behind, if you feel pressure to figure it out, if you're in your 20s and you feel like it's messy, or if you're in your 30s or 40s and you feel like it's messy. I want to give you some lessons that I've learned in my 33 years of life that I hope can help you. So the first lesson is you don't have to have everything figured out in your 20s. I am someone that was always more mature for their age, so I always did things before others. I always tried to figure things out. I wanted to be mature, feel mature, do those adult things. I remember when I was a kid too, I was always thinking about, I can't wait till I'm 14 so I can go to the jacuzzi alone. I can't wait till I'm 16 so I can drive alone. I can't wait till I'm 18 to be able to vote. I can't wait till I'm 21 to be able to drink or whatever. I always had this feeling of I can't wait till I'm a certain age to do certain things. But your 20s are really for trying things out, right? I moved countries. I took risks. I was in different relationships. I said yes to things that scared me. I worked hard. I fell. I had some negative situations. And it's not about having everything figured out. It's not about having everything figured out at all. But we have this pressure to be settled, to be certain. Imagine back to when you were 15. What did you think? Oh, by 30, I'll have 2 kids and be married and have a white picket fence house. And it's just, that's not the reality when you're actually in your 30s. It can look like that if you wanted to, but it can also look like something totally different. And you don't have to live your life according to any sort of preconceived notion or timeline that you, society, your family, anyone has set on you. And again, it benefits people who want you to stop moving and who want you to start conforming. So don't stop doing what you actually want to do, what feels good to you. Lesson number 2 is confidence is a skill, not a personality trait. Now, I do believe that some people just innately are born or the way they're raised have higher confidence. That's a given. But I think that everyone can learn confidence as a skill. So if you're not naturally confident, I would say I'm a medium confident. Most people would probably say on the outward that I'm very confident. Internally, I didn't always feel that way. So I think my external didn't match my internal, and I faked it. I always use the expression fake it till you make it with confidence. It works beautifully. I think it's super, super powerful to do, whether it was in work, in relationships, in my body, in asking for what I wanted. I was not confident, not confident. I mean, I've talked about this before, but I've gone through a lot of things with my body image and different things like that. If you knew what I said about myself in my head, it was pretty bad. And the thing that nobody tells you is faking it till you make it, faking that confidence is actually part of building the thing. Because every time you did the thing when you were scared or unsure, every time you asked for what you wanted, even when your voice shook or when you were uncomfortable, every time you set a boundary when you didn't feel good about it, that is actually how confidence is built. I talk about confidence a lot in with my clients and them going through the job search process, that confidence is not just about outwardly just saying what you want. It's also about those micro things that you do throughout the day, throughout the week, whenever it is, that are building that confidence, right? Of trying new things, of setting the boundary, of asking for what you want. And again, you can do this through trial and error. You can do this through going to therapy. You can do it badly before you do it well, right? Totally okay to do. And again, if you didn't wake up one day or weren't born feeling super confident, just know that it is something that you can work on and it is a skill that you can gain. And I want you to feel empowered to do that. Lesson number 3 is therapy is not optional. I truly believe that for the most part, everyone could benefit from therapy. Again, it could be different parts of your life, different times of your life, but I do think that most people can benefit from therapy. I was in therapy for about, I want to say 3 or 4 months initially, but I didn't really get a lot out of working with my therapist. And then I went to another therapist who I worked with for 2.5 years, and that was extremely pivotal. I talked about my career, my business. I talked about my personal relationships. I talked about my relationship with my family, how I grew up. I did a ton of self-reflection, internal work, really getting honest about all the things I didn't talk about or I wasn't able to be honest about. And doing that work in my mid-20s, I did it till about like 28-ish, 29 maybe. It was extremely pivotal because it really allowed me to become this more confident, grounded version of myself in my 30s. If I didn't go through therapy, I always say this, I wouldn't have looked at my husband in the way that I looked at him initially. We maybe not wouldn't be married. I wouldn't feel confident. I wouldn't be successful in my business. There's a lot of things I think wouldn't have happened yet if I hadn't gone to therapy. And again, it could have happened later, but the therapy really helped accelerate and heal me in a positive way. And again, I truly believe that you don't have to wait until you're in a crisis situation to go to therapy. So I went because I was very down bad after a breakup, but I think that you can still go regardless. And therapy is how you help yourself move through and how you stop the crisis from happening in the first place. So I will always be an advocate of therapy. If, in any way that you can get it, I think it can be super, super helpful. Lesson 4 is the timeline was never yours to begin with. So when I was 28, this was like, I think I had actually already met my husband, but like we were not serious. And I remember I got in the car with my best friend at the time and her partner. They were not married, but they have a child together and they've been together long term. And I remember he said to me, I don't remember the exact comment, but it was along the lines of, it's just so ridiculous that you're still in this phase, that you're still like dating around and you don't want to settle down. And I was like, what? Like, why does he have a problem with me being single? Obviously, I think it came from a place of jealousy that I was talking to my best friend about being single and he was in a relationship with her and maybe that he thought that negatively affected her. That's an insecure man and a conversation for another day. However, it stuck with me because I was like, why do I need to settle at 28? And again, I happened to meet my husband at 28. So like I ended up being with him, but like that wasn't what I thought at the time. And at 28, like I completely changed my life, right? I met my husband. After that is when I quit corporate. Now we're planning on moving to a different continent. Like I've had so many changes in the last couple years that wouldn't have happened had I not gone through my 20s. And so again, it's this like timeline of like back in the day, I've always known I wanted kids, but back in the day, I was like, oh, by 30, I'll have kids, maybe 31, 32. I'm 33 and I'm like, absolutely not. We're not doing that right now. And it's because what I thought was the timeline actually wasn't when I got to the place of where I am. You have to kind of go through the different aspects of life to understand what it is that you actually want. And of course, like, we would be remiss not to mention that society, the patriarchy, gives women a timeline to make these decisions. And it comes from a place of fear and urgency rather than clarity and choice. And that's the problem. I'm 33. Do you know how many people have told me? My in-laws have made comments. People have made comments about my age and how I really should start thinking about the kid situation because of my age. Most of them said it more politely, but that was the point. And I'm like, your fear of me not having a kid has nothing to do with me. Like, I don't need you to put that pressure on me. I feel good about where I'm at. I go to my doctor. We have this conversation. Like, I'm well informed. We do not need to be worrying about this. So I just refuse to follow the timeline, and I just do what I think feels best and what's best in my relationship and what I feel I want. Lesson number 5 is do the thing, move to the country, take the job, say yes. So when I was 22, 3 weeks after graduating from college, I packed up my 8 suitcases and I moved from California to Budapest, Hungary. Now, granted, I was born here, so like I have roots here. My grandparents lived here, my uncle, like I had family, so I wasn't like alone. And I had friends too that I had made from coming every summer and spending time with them. So it was not like I moved somewhere where I had no friends and no family. So I just want to make that clear. I was also a dual citizen, so I didn't have that issue. I had never went to school in Hungary. I never worked in Hungary. I didn't even know. I always tell this story when I first went to the post office. I literally didn't know what to say. And the lady at the post office was like, how do you want to send this letter? And I was like, I don't even know what the options are. And she looked at me like I was psychotic because I speak Hungarian. So they assume I'm Hungarian and have lived there. So I had to explain to her, like, this is my first time at the post office when I was like 22. So it was a lot. But I moved and it was the best decision I ever made. And everyone told me not to move because, historically, Hungary is just has some issues politically, healthcare wise. Their salaries are obviously a lot lower. Their quality of life is lower. But so everyone told me I was dumb for leaving America, a beautiful place of opportunities. And I was like, you know what? That's what I want to do. And I ended up building a really successful career here. I made good friends. I met my husband. I had great relationships. I loved living here in the city. I love Budapest. It's so vibrant, beautiful. There's so much to do. And I took that risk. And I'm not saying I wasn't scared, but I didn't have this deep fear. But everyone else had these deep fears for me. And I was like, I wasn't able to articulate this at the time, but I'm like, why are you projecting your negative energy onto me? I don't need that. And I made it work and I was successful. At the end of the day, none of it was certain. And I knew that I could always move back or figure it out. Like I've always been someone who's figured it out. And looking back, some of the things that I'm most proud of in my life are the things that terrified me, like moving, like leaving a relationship that was toxic or unhealthy, even though everyone loved the person I was with, right? And I also said yes to so many things. I moved to a new country. I started jobs. I said yes to new opportunities. I made friends. I went on dates. Like I did so many things that I said yes to that led me to where I am today. And without those experiences, I wouldn't have had that. So if you're contemplating moving to another state or even another city or anywhere, do it. If you're contemplating traveling, do it. If you're contemplating just going on a date or whatever, like do the thing. Do the thing. Lesson 6 is love yourself now. Not when you lose the weight, not when you get the job, not when you have more money, but now. It's going to make me emotional even just thinking about it. This was a very, very hard lesson that I had to learn. When I tell you, like, I hated myself and my body, how I looked for probably 15 years or more. From a very young age, my body was talked about. I was told that I should lose weight or I'm fat or many nasty things were said to me. And I internalized them as a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 15-year-old. I internalized them. And that took me all through my 20s. I ended up looking back now, I definitely had like some sort of restrictive eating disorder vibes. Like I look back at pictures when I was literally stick thin, like so thin. My bones were peeking out. And I remember thinking back then that I was fat and I needed to lose weight. And it's just so insane. And I always think about like when I'm on my deathbed, like, am I going to regret spending so much time thinking about my body and how I look? And again, it's not about not being healthy because healthy is important and it's very important for me to be healthy, but just obsessing about those things that you can't change or that don't change as quickly and then letting it rule your life. I don't have regrets necessarily, and I don't know that I could have done it differently, but I wish I didn't think about that so much in my 20s. And I wish that I would have had more confidence and loved myself. Now I do, regardless of me being in a biggest version of my body that I've ever been in, I do love myself and I care about myself. And I wish I would have had that in my 20s. And that comes with deciding that you're worthy right now, not when you get the thing, right? And this is where it comes down to you don't need anything else. You just need to exist, and that's okay. So, if that is something you're struggling with, I just want to validate that. And definitely therapy is great for that. And just really working through those and just really thinking about later in life. Are you going to not regret, but are you going to wish you didn't spend so much time not loving yourself and instead loving where you are? Lesson 7 is the right partner will find you when you stop settling. Now, I don't really subscribe to the whole like, oh, as women, we should let a man find us and whatever. Like, to me, that's bullshit, patriarchal, all of that nonsense. The way I see this is like, you will find a partner that's right for you when you know your worth, right? And again, like you can always find someone to be with. The question is like, if you want to be in a relationship, because again, you don't have to. And I don't even preach for people to be in relationships. But if you do want to be in a relationship, and many of us humans in general, we do the way we're wired, we do like being in partnerships. You need to first believe in yourself and who you are and have confidence so you don't settle for someone that's not worthy of you. I settled. I absolutely settled in relationships. I was in relationships that weren't right for me, but I never took the last step. I never married someone that I shouldn't have or had a baby with someone that I shouldn't have because I was super clear on like, even though in the moment I couldn't leave the situation, I was clear on that's not what I want. And, now I found someone who does tick all my boxes, who is a manifestation of everything that I've wanted, who is a partner to me and not someone I have to mommy or take care of. And that's really important to me. And it wasn't luck that I found him. It was that I raised my standards and I saw that he was able to give me what I want. And I also asked for what I want. The right person in your life isn't going to require you to shrink. If they do, not the right person. Lesson 8 is money is freedom and you're allowed to love it. So again, not everyone is like wants to make $1 million and be super successful and climb the corporate ladder. That's totally fine. But if you do want to be successful, if you do love money, you should. I was pretty young when I bought my apartment and I do make more money than my husband and I love having money and I love spending it on things that matter to me. And I don't want to apologize for that. And I have felt like in the past, I have had to apologize or minimize the money that I make or make it seem less serious than it is or less than it is. And I just don't think that money is shallow or unfeminine or greedy, to be honest. Money means I have options. Money means I have safety. Money is my ability to make decisions from a place of clarity instead of fear. So I really like talking about money now, and I want to talk about money with my friends, with all of you, all of you as well, and just show that it is important and it's okay to want more. It's okay to want more. Lesson 9 is working hard is not the enemy. Now, prefacing because I talk about nervous system regulation, setting boundaries, all that good stuff, right? Like I 100% believe in that. However, I worked my ass off in my 20s. I did not know what nervous system regulation, all of that shit was. No idea. And Would it have helped me? Yes, because I, at the beginning of COVID, like had literal panic attacks. That's how I got into nervous system regulation and all the mindset tools, because I was physically unwell. So don't get to that point. But what I'm saying is it's okay to work a little bit more in your 20s. It's okay to work a little bit harder. The reason that I am where I am today and I have a flexible schedule and I can be a coach and I have my own business is because I have all that experience, because people trust me and will pay me for that experience that I did. I did my time, right? And so I think that's important to have, as well as like you can still have boundaries and rest and have self-care. But if you want to work hard, if you want to be successful, if you want to move up the corporate ladder, whatever it is, it's also okay to work hard. Like ambition is also okay. Wanting to build something is also okay. So again, you don't have to choose between being a feminist and like working hard and all of that. You can absolutely be someone who works hard and also believes in the self-care, the rest, and all of that. And again, the goal isn't to work less, it's to work in a way that doesn't cost you yourself and your health, frankly. Last lesson, lesson 10, is contentment is the goal, not happiness. So happiness comes and goes. Contentment is a state that you can be in. So I am finally content. I have goals and ambitions, but I'm also deeply trying and succeeding, I would say, at enjoying the now, enjoying what I have now, and thinking about how the older version of myself, well, technically the younger version, but like an old version of me wish she had the life she had now, and just being present. I still have my goals and ambitions and I'm still working towards things, but this version of me is super happy. And contentment doesn't come from hitting milestones. It comes from doing that internal work, refusing the timeline, building something real, and choosing yourself consistently at any age, no matter what. So these are my 10 lessons. I obviously have way more, but these were the 10 most that I wanted to share. And if you're in your 20s and you feel behind, I hope that this was helpful. Even if you're not in your 20s, please know you are not behind. You are constantly becoming that version of yourself. And it's okay if you don't have things figured out. If you're my age and you don't have things figured out, it's also totally okay. What does it even mean to have things figured out? We have to let go of these timelines because they're not helping us. But I really want you to look at what you want in your life rather than conforming to someone else's timeline. Do the thing you've always wanted to do. Take the risk. Go to therapy. Love your body now. Build money. Be ambitious. Be excited. Rest. Work hard. Whatever it is that you want to do, I want to empower you to do it. And trust that the version of you at 33, 43, 53 is going to look back and everything is going to click. So have that clicking moment now. All right. Happy birthday to me. I'm so excited. I love a good birthday. And if any of y'all are also fellow Aries, then happy birthday. We love Aries season. I do think this is the official start of the new year, but that's just me. And if you love the episode, I would so appreciate, for my birthday present is a subscribing and a 5-star review would make me so, so happy. All right. I hope y'all have an amazing week and I'll catch you in the next episode.